from
Sorry.
from from day one in my life, I was essentially destined, apparently, for a life promoting peace, or at least that was the wish from my parents since day one. And I have to say that today, I feel that they were absolutely and amazingly inspired when they gave me that first name, because I have been feeling a very, very strong connection with the value of peace for as long as I can remember. Um, I was born in a multicultural household because I was born in France some 40 something years ago. And so with two parents who are Cameroonians, I was already plunged into the mixing of cultures and cultures that are quite diverse. So one from an African continent in Cameroon, and one in the European continent in France. And another particularity is um, of the expression of a very, very early passion for languages. Um, from the moment I had the opportunity to learn a new language, I was essentially very, very excited. Um,
Hello. Sorry. Do you think you
so
can all mute, please? And Shibiani has already started. Please, can we all
yes,
mute? Thank you. Sorry,
thank you.
Shibiani.
Yeah, no problem. So yes, when I had the first opportunity to learn a new language, which was English, I was very excited to the point that I actually called English, and I still call English my first love. So I got that opportunity at the age of 8 at school, and yeah, that was my favorite subject. And the reason for this, I think, is because English represented for me a tool and a door to the discovery of new cultures. By mastering new languages, I had the feeling that I could connect more deeply with people from yeah, other countries, diverse backgrounds around the world. And so that was for me very, very exciting from a very, very young age. So that's in terms of the early years. And then so I decided when I had my first opportunity to move to the UK and settle in the UK. And I think that move was predestined as well because I had that deep connection with the English language, and I really had a love for the discovery of other cultures. Um, it was a normal and probably on my life path that I was going to live in an English speaking country, and the UK was an easy choice for me to make. So that happened back in 2006. Um, I can say that it was some kind of a shock when I arrived in the UK. Yeah, discovering the way of life, living in London, starting my career in this country. It wasn't as easy as I thought it would be, and it's funny that countries can be so close in distance, but still feel quite different in terms of the way of life and the culture and the way of representing ourselves, the world we live in. And so I decided to put all those uh, experiences and my reflection on the different yeah experiences that I was going through and challenges that I was going through into a poetry collection um, written in French called Fragiles Églantines. And that was, yeah, allowing me to essentially um, consecrate the consecrate my thinking and my reflection around the world we live in and the direction that the world is taking through my life in the UK. So and yeah, and the book is still available on Amazon, although I released it um, 13 years ago now. And so because I graduated from a business school in France, so I had to start my career, and I was lucky to work with very renowned companies such as General Electric and Amazon and Google, which were very, I mean, companies where yeah, employees are very well looked after, and I was very lucky to work in those companies for quite some time and manage projects that were uh, mm, yeah all global. It was important for me to work on international projects because that was for me the opportunity to again connect with different countries, different cultures. Um, However, although I knew that I was very lucky to have the opportunity to manage big projects in those global companies, renowned companies. Something was still missing. And I knew that I wasn't going to enjoy such a career for a long time, and that I needed to understand, try and figure out what is missing. And once I have identified what is missing, how do I um, change direction so that I can um, include and integrate in my life that piece that was going to make me feel more fulfilled. So that's why I've got this lotus flower here with question marks. It's because, yeah, despite having enjoyed um, a great, I mean, a great career early on, yeah, I still needed and I still needed to feel like I was becoming who I truly am, which wasn't really the case at the time, I think. So in order to figure out what it is that I wanted to do and how I was going um, to achieve this, I decided to create a mobile application. So because I was working in the internet industry, I kind of knew what was the very popular tools of the day in terms of online tools, mobile applications, social media platforms. And there wasn't, or at least I didn't know any recognized tool or platform or online app or online website or mobile application that was helping people to achieve their goals and express their goals and act on their goals so that they could accomplish them. And so I decided to create my own mobile application that was going to help me identify my goals and achieve my goals. And that's how I created Chimmer, so a goal setting mobile application that integrates some techniques around visualization and accountability. And that was going to help me essentially act upon the goals that I was setting so that hopefully at some point I could feel like I am more fulfilled than I was at the time. And because I created this app, I mean, I graduated from a business school, so I had a bit of a business mind. And so I thought, okay, if I need this app, maybe other people need it. So I decided to make it a business. And the app is still available today on the App Store and on Google Play. And over time, I added, um, yeah, quite a few functionalities, gratitude as well, teaming, to boost accountability, um, reminders, and etc. to help people with their goals and to help people achieve achieve fulfillment in their lives. Um, I wasn't. I knew that I was dabbling into coaching with this app that I had put together. I don't have an IT background, but I was working with developers to build it for me as I was conceiving the different functionalities. So I knew that I was kind of touching on aspects of coaching, but um, I wasn't ready to call it a coaching app because I didn't feel like I knew what coaching was, and so I didn't want to make a mistake about the mistake of qualifying the app as a coaching app if it wasn't really. Um, but I needed to actually understand whether it was coaching or not. So at some point during my journey with Chimmer, I attended some events and yeah, presentations around coaching, and I was very surprised to realize that the app that I had built and the functionalities that I had integrated were were spot on when it comes to when it comes to coaching. The base of coaching is goal setting, and then the aspects of visualization and gratitude um, were very much connecting with what coaching is about. So I was quite happy about this, and that prompted me to essentially specialize a bit further around the coaching space and take some coaching certifications to make sure that I can continue um, improve the app and improve the philosophy of the business around helping people to be fulfilled. Um, at some point in that journey with Shimmer, so when I started Shimmer, I started it as a short to mid-term project that was going to help me um, fulfill my goals. I mean, find more fulfillment and happiness in my life. And then hopefully it's a successful business and then I can sell it at some point. That's how I considered Shimmer when I started it. But then over time, um, I had to have a negative experience, I shall say, with someone that was dear to me. Um, for me to be kind of shaken, and essentially he disrespected my first name, and that really shook me to the point that I think for some time um, I wasn't really embracing the fact that I was essentially in love with the concept of peace. And when this person disrespected my name, it really did something to me to the point that I've realized that I needed to actually really recognize that peace is an extremely big part of me. So before I was more like everybody loves peace, and if I say that I love peace, it sounds cheesy. Um, but then I realized that for me, it's a degree higher, and and that it's important now that I really do something about and own my connection with this concept of peace. We all have passions, and it seems like that peace is one of mine. Um, and so it's interesting that it's through some kind of a negative experience that I got to start really owning the fact that maybe more than other people, um, I want my life to be um, to, to be shaped around that value and that principle of peace. And and so that meant that I had to start developing my thinking and my philosophy around peace. And luckily, I also found the connection um, to peace, um, the connection of Chima to peace. And it's when I realized that Chima was essentially helping me to find inner peace that I decided that Chima was not going to be a short-term to mid-term venture anymore, but more a mid to long-term venture because I realized that it was very much in line with who I am now that I had understood that what I was helping people to reach with Chima was inner peace. And so, and so I decided to, um, in the journey of managing this business, to foster and communicate more around the inner peace aspect of coaching and how Chima is fostering and promoting this. And and at some point through this journey, I decided. I mean, I realized that maybe there was a need. I mean, also because I needed some coaching myself, and I searched for some coaches, and I found a gap in the market in terms of how to find a coach. Um, I decided to also create Coachero, a platform that connects coaches and clients. And Coachero is based on, well, the word coach, coaching, and the word hero. So every person that benefits from coaching is a hero of their story. And also the word cheer. So the coach cheering the hero. So that's how the name came about. And the idea was to have a platform for people to easily find coaches that correspond to their coaching needs. So it was missing at the time. That was back in 2019 when I started to notice some gaps in the market, and I jotted down some ideas in terms of how to build a platform that was going to make coaching more accessible and also help the, the democratization of coaching, um, and yeah, help the awareness of this field to make it more popular um, among 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 society really. So that's how Kochiro came about, and I think those two, Chima and Kochiro, kind of work hand in hand. Uh, since, as I said earlier, um, one of the core aspects of coaching is goal setting. So and yeah, um, as I continue developing my philosophy around peace, um, it it became more and more obvious that in order to reach peace and world peace in particular, um, we had to encourage or help people achieve inner peace at an individual level. And so, from my perspective, coaching was a very powerful tool to help people, each individual, achieve a certain level of inner peace. And so if I could make my little contribution with Couture and Shimmer, then through a ripple effect, I was also making a contribution to fostering peace at a society level, at a national level, at a world level. So that's how I have kind of um, conceived my career more recently in terms of my um, entrepreneurial ventures. Um, I also had a stint in volunteering. So uh, 2 years before, so what that happened in 2016. 2 years before that, I was lucky to visit a number of countries in Asia over the course of a month. And that was my first time visiting Asia. And I really, really loved it. However, I came back feeling like, I had the feeling that it was a bit too much far niente for me to visit all those countries. And that next time I had the opportunity to travel like this, I really wanted to be useful to the population that I was going to meet. And so I started to think about, because I was a contractor um, in the companies that I was working with, I knew that the contract was going to come to an end at some point, and so that was probably maybe my opportunity um, to plan another trip, and it was very important for me to serve, and so that's how the idea of volunteering came up. Um, I had promised to myself that if I make a big trip, I want to be useful. So I went through the process of figuring out what kind of volunteering mission I was going to accomplish. Um, in which country did I want to volunteer, and how was I going to make this happen? And I went back to essentially the skills that I felt I could easily um, use in order to support the population. And so I went back to the first job that I wanted to make when I was a child, which was English teacher. And I thought it would be good if I was an English teacher in a French speaking country. And so let's see if I can find I can essentially be that as part of the volunteering mission. And so I managed to find a great charity called WFWP that was organizing voluntary missions for people that were signing up. And I had a list of countries that I could choose from. So they provided a list of countries that I could choose from. And um, and one country was piquing my curiosity. And that was Benin in French, so Benin. And in French, Benin is Benin, but Benin also means benign. So, and I was like, okay, this country that is called Benin, so that is a bit benign. We never hear about it in the news. A lot of people have never heard about it in their lives. I want to know what's happening in this country. So let's go there. And so that's how I decided to. So I was lucky that this country was part of their list, and so yeah, liaising with them, we kind of built the mission, and I got to go and teach at Collège Martin Luther King, so Martin Luther King college, and teach kids from the ages of 11 to 18. So that was a great time. I absolutely loved uh, my time there teaching, meeting with those kids on a daily basis and imparting, just knowledge, helping them with their lessons, and just really feeling the country and be of service. Um, and Martin Luther King is probably my biggest icon. And so I would say maybe, yeah, how do you say, cherry on the cake. That's the person that I have been admiring the most in terms of those icons, those very famous um, individuals. That, yeah, it got to be Martin Luther King. That was the name of the school I was teaching in. So yeah, the stars were very much aligned during that month of 2016, and to the point that when I came back to the UK, it was hard because I had such a great time, and yeah, being of service like this, that's something that I had never experienced before, and so having to leave that, and it was for a month only, and I realized that was far too short, and having to leave that and to go back to my, businesswoman kind of life, that was um that was quite hard. And so yeah, I promised myself that I had to, I mean, I wanted that volunteering to be a part of my life, so try and make it a more regular part of my life. I have to say that I haven't had the chance to volunteer again like this since. But what it meant is that I needed to really be part of a charity from then on. If I couldn't go out abroad and volunteer, 'cause that's just not easy to realize, to achieve, then I needed to try and find a way to give back through that for a charity. But it took me some time to find um, really what I wanted to do as part of a charity. I did for a long time. I searched for something I was going to connect with, um, but I had difficulty to find something that was going to click. So what I did was I decided to jot down what would be my ideal charity if I had to give my time more regularly here in the UK. And it was, I mean, everything that I was jotting down was centered around peace. And yes, it was centered around peace. And then through a lot of reading that I was doing, I got to um, I got to make my thinking more precise and clarify what it is that I wanted to do as part of a charity. And that's how I decided that I wanted to um, raise awareness around peace, especially among children, so from a very young age. So I jotted all of that down, asked myself quite a lot of questions, and how I was going to tackle those questions as part of my mission to raise awareness around peace with those kids. So yeah, you can see here the different some examples of books that I've read that have helped me with my thinking process, and and those questions that I would love to be able to um, explore on a regular basis with my community and with children, to continue fostering peace and promote peace, and also for me to always be more in line with my life mission, because that's essentially, I think, what um, I am seeking to do. So how to raise awareness on peace, and how to make peace both a conscious and unconscious way of life. And so what I started to do some 5 to 6 years ago is create an Instagram account called Water of Peace, where I can essentially bask into my passion around the value and principle of peace, and yeah, celebrate peace in all its forms. So yeah, the title of the description of the Instagram account is From Inner Peace to World Peace, fostering stimulating conversations and connections. And so it aims at bringing awareness on inner peace and compassion, providing inspirational quotes on peace so that people can read them and flavor their day with the energy of those quotes. if possible, on a daily basis, celebrating peacemakers and peace builders, celebrating Nobel Peace Prize winners, celebrating authors and philosophers. So yeah, so that's something that I do. I've been doing for some time now in my free time. And then more recently, um, I connected with the Women's Federation of World Peace, and especially with Anne and with Oksana and with Miti, and I got to tell you um, about those notes that I had jotted down and this project that I had in mind about raising awareness of peace among children. And yeah, and I was very happy that I got very well received, and I got your support to make this a reality. So we started the workshops back in September, and we've really very much enjoyed managing those workshops, and the attendees have very much enjoyed those workshops so far. And yeah, we are 4 women today organizing them. And for those kids, age 6 to 10, it's an opportunity to have conversations and have games and yeah, delve into different topics that I've listed here. So topics such as inner peace, self-worth, compassion, generosity, peace in the family and at school, peace in society and in the world, embracing diversity, managing conflicts, what is nonviolent communication, what is mindfulness, how to bring mindfulness in your life on a daily basis, what's diplomacy, also understand the distinction between collaboration and competition, and also celebrate, I mean, see how peace is celebrated in the arts and in sports, and how peace plays a part in bringing about a greener planet as well. So these are all the themes that we are exploring in those workshops that we are organizing as part of the Peace Adventures program, and they are monthly workshops. So yeah, it's a project that is very dear to my heart. I'm very happy that I'm involved in organizing those, and that I've got the support of the federation for organizing them. And again, you know, there are those moments in life when you really feel like the stars are aligned. And we've spoken about it with Ostana several times. When I met you guys back in July, and we started the conversation, it was just obvious. It was fluid. It was a meeting of of minds that was very, very, very powerful. And it's great for me to know more about the Women's Federation of World Peace and see how my thinking around peace and the philosophy of the Federation are so aligned, and yeah, they simply click and marry. So it's great. It's amazing. So yeah, um, my wish is that we can expand the program, that more people attend, but that we can also deliberate in schools, because I do believe that, as I was, you know, kind of saying before, how to make peace both a conscious and unconscious way of life. I think in order to achieve this, it's important that yeah, we raise awareness from a very young age, that we almost teach it as maybe a topic, a subject in itself, like we teach maths or we teach English or we teach history. Why not teach peace if we recognize it as an important value in society? So yeah, there's a lot of conversations that we can have in order to see whether that vision is is possible, and whether this is really what we want to achieve. Because I think what I am kind of pointing at is some form of update or upgrade of the educational programs at school, and so that we can maybe integrate a bit more teachings around the values that we have, that we share as a society, as a country. Um, so, in place of or on top of those very technical subjects that are not necessarily taught with those values in mind. So, so yeah, it's an invite to some conversations and debates and reflections around this. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell, I guess. Um, so yeah, the story continues, and I put this lotus flower again. For me, I am still seeking. I'm a seeker of inner peace. I'm a seeker of peace and of world peace. I'm still evolving. My philosophy is always burgeoning with new ideas, and and so that's why I'm saying, yeah, the story continues because I've got ideas, more ideas in my head, and I'm still looking at, okay, what else can be done in order to achieve that vision that I've got, um, and also what else can I do to always be more aligned with what I'm supposed to be, with my short time on this planet. So thank you very much for listening to me, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chimbuani. That was very interesting, inspiring talk. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from anyone?
Anyone, please be free to unmute yourself if you would like to ask a question.
Let me stop sharing, I guess.
Hi, Chimbuani. Sorry, this is Mitty. I can't put my camera on, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for
thank you, Mitty.
a wonderful presentation and about your journey, really seeking for peace. It's amazing, actually. Thank you. How deep you think about things and also pursue peace, not just for yourself, but also especially for the future generation, young people. And I think, yeah, it's very much aligned with also what Princess Kate is thinking, about educating the young children. She's also thinking the importance of instilling good values in young children at a young age so that they can have that as a platform to move forward in their lives. So when you were speaking, I kind of thought about Princess Kate and her endeavor and work. And I think also the fact that you persevered, even though you've had some disappointment or knockbacks, but and then that you found our organization, which kind of perhaps aligns with your dreams and wishes as well, which is great for us as well, because we're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I've been following your Peace Adventures. I'm sorry I haven't really been involved so much, but I can see how much dedication and hard work is going on with all your team members. And it's really great to see the development and the enrichment that you give to the children. I think it will have an impact on their life more than one expects. Yeah. So just wanted to give that little comment to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mitty. Thanks, Dylan. for your comments in the chat. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we would be happy, of course, to expand it. But I think as you're making a foundation, it's always good to have a solid foundation first, and then step by step we start to expand it. And I think you're doing a great job taking leaps forward, actually. Yeah.
So maybe can I ask people's perspective on on teaching peace, I guess. So I'm sometimes a little bit uncomfortable with the word teach, and the reason is because we're still all learning, I think, about peace, and so right now I wouldn't consider myself as someone who can actually teach. So I've got a little bit of difficulty with using the word teach, but still, I think it would be great to consecrate that as a subject at school. But I was wondering maybe if some people have ideas around this or any form of comment on this, and whether you think this is something that would be needed or not, especially based on what we currently have as a brochette of subjects at school today. Yeah. Does anyone have any particular opinion on this? I'm currently I am always thinking about all of this, and I was reflecting on my own experience when I was a child, a teenager at school, especially when I was learning history. Um, and the events in France or in the UK, and how it was more when conflicts started and when they ended, but maybe more than that than why they started and why they ended. And it was it was more, it was more a history class as opposed to a civic class, I'd say, or a class on particular values that we can learn from history. And I suppose maybe the vocation of history is to actually help us understand how societies are formed and how nations interact with each other, how cultures are formed, how countries are shaped. But then, do we then emphasize on particular values? I'm not entirely sure. We just call it history class. We don't call it peace class or justice class or freedom class. So,
Can I say something?
sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sure.
I can't have a video, but I can unmute myself. Yeah, in the comments I just said I'm a teacher myself, and first of all, thank you so much. I think it's really appreciated. I'm really appreciative that of your kind of viewpoint, also for your desire to bring it down to children who I think will turn into adults at some point, right? So I need these kind of skills. Just you asked the question about whether or not it should be a subject on its own. I really think like if we want a world of peace, we need to look at the layers that is contained within that, right? You can't have a world of peace if you don't have a nation of peace. And you can't have a nation of peace if you don't have a society of peace. You can't have a society of peace if you don't work all the way back, right? To the family, to the individual. So I think peace should be inherent in all of those layers, right? If you want to kind of cover all aspects. So I think, I teach physics, but I would love to see my students kind of talk about peace in a kind of overt way, and not just, like you said, include it in history or whatever, and kind of just say, let's let's think about the idea of peace itself and how we can address that. But I think it should be in all layers. But anyway, yeah, thank you. That's what I wanted to say. So thank you for your story.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Indeed, I think you said the word overt, and yeah, that's what it is. Make it more obvious, declared, known that a part of what we are teaching when we are teaching history is how to bring about peaceful society, how to bring about harmonious societies. It may not be declared openly enough or overtly enough in schools programs. That's what we want to achieve. So, yeah.
I want to add to this. I'm so grateful to meet Chimbuani and to start this project together because I see a big need in education of peace on different levels and through different ways to educate children about peace. And I'm also so happy that we have parents involved because
Yes.
it's even more impactful when children together with parents doing this. Because if child learn that just by itself and come back home, and then it's not so easy maybe keep up with the rest of the family, but when they come in together, then it's completely different value and changes in their life. And
yeah,
yeah,
it's
being
great
through
it's great to realize that it was originally destined to children, but that then when the parents take part in it, they also really see the value in it for themselves. That's so beautiful to see. It's amazing, and yeah, to see them coming back. Yeah, it's very, very beautiful.
it's very like you have a tears because you can see that parents we learn through the session that parents also don't know many things. Nobody educated them about peace, and so it's like real discovery for their lives, and they're so happy to find this something more meaningful in their life.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's yeah, it's new. It's new, right? It's kind of new for all of us. For me, it's new as well. I mean, you know that, Oksana. When I prepare for it, I have to research to be ready because yeah, I am creating on the go, and so yeah, it's I mean, obviously, that's it's obvious, and again, thanks, Anne, for sharing those videos with me because I got to even see more of what the Women's Federation of World Peace is doing, and you've done a lot. You've done a lot. So me, when I come, it's still new for me, and so I need to rely on all the work that you have already done in the UK, but in other countries as well, to continue my own journey with peace, and then to make sure that with my experience of peace, I can make sure that the kids benefit uh, from that experience and have their own journey, positive journey with peace as well.
I have a question for you. There is a lot of talk about reparation and justice, etc., etc., but very little talk about discovering the values, what makes culture, the tradition, religion, and of the various ethnies, the various religions, the various whatever create difference between people. And I was thinking that it would be far more valuable to discover, as I say, the preciousness of each other people who are different from our thinking or our viewpoint, our religion, and so forth, in order to bring closer connection and closer cooperation. and most of all, eliminate the problem of fight and adversity, everybody calling for reparation and so forth.
Yes, yes. Yeah, thanks for your question and comments. Yes, as part of Peace Adventurers, it's actually a topic that we want to explore as well. And again, I use the word explore because we are all on a journey. So it's an
Exactly.
adventure even for us. So next month, the session that we are going to have in February is exploring the theme of different cultures and different opinions, and how do we embrace diversity? So we're going to go through that with the kids. Obviously, we do it so when we tackle the topic, we make sure that that it corresponds to their age range, right? So, I mean, in my pondering phases on this topic, I am hoping that one day I will be able to bring that awareness to age ranges that are older, and that means that when they are older, more more mature, we have to tackle those topics that you have just mentioned. Sorry, is it Len or is it Anne?
Anne.
Anne, sorry, yeah. So that you've mentioned, and so that are a bit more political, right? And so I think you're right. In our approach, it's important that we focus always more on the positive than on the negative experiences from the past, I think. And it's just a question of energy. You don't necessarily want to focus on the hardship of the past, or be in a mindset of disappointment and sorry, I'm losing my vocabulary, but yeah, you don't want to feel like you are always brewing from the ills of the past, and that you are focusing more on what is the positive opening that you can provide to yourself, and to the people surrounding you and your community at large. And so yeah, I would say that I concur with your comment about yeah, focusing the discussion more on on what we can do better for the future, as opposed to how can we solve the past. The past is already gone. Can we really resolve it? Probably not. We don't have any more control on the past. So yeah, that would be my answer.
Yeah, there were Bridge of Peace realized to bring together people from opposite, such as Palestinian and Israeli. That was done in the past, but well, black and white or whatever. The point is, if we discover the value, the preciousness, what is really interesting, the creativity, the concept of other people from which are different to our way of thinking, way of living, then it brings respect.
Yeah. So having said that, yeah, it's actually important to learn from the past. So you can learn from the past without brewing, the pain from the past.
Yeah.
And we have examples from the past where, from broken societies, we've managed to turn that around into more harmonious society. Obviously, it's always in every country, in every society, peace is always a perfectible project. I hope that that sounds correct in English, in a sense that, and Gandhi said that, and I posted that actually on my on my Instagram, that the peace is the path. It's not the destination of the path, it's the path. So it is always perfected. But what I was trying to say is we have examples where we have managed to turn that around from societies in conflicts to societies that have a relatively more harmonious relationships. And South Africa is a great example, with the Truth and Reconciliation program that lasted over years and years to understand what was wrong in apartheid, and to be able to reconcile the different communities in South Africa so that they could have more harmonious and peaceful relationships and connections. And so it's important that we learn from those from those efforts of reconciliation. So in the past, from the past, and that we, I think, use this and emulate this when possible, for those conflicts that we are experiencing today. That's my view anyway. That yes, the past is gone, but it has actually precious treasures in terms of the lessons that we can take out for ourselves so that we can deal with the present and the future.
If I may add a little bit also toward Anne's question, in this session, we teaching children the methods to deal with all the situation, what they will face, difficult situations or differences in the future, or what they may face in school or society around them. So by the time they face these situations, they already have tools, what we taught them, to deal with it and to not get stuck in some trauma and offensive and resentments, because they already know how to approach and solve it. We cannot teach them, again, focusing on negative, but giving them all the tools so they can solve it in positive way.
That sounds like a really wonderful idea. A very, very good way to approach this type of education for children. Wonderful.
And so yeah, just to continue on what Oksana said, and yeah, that's what I've got on the screen is what I've shared again. Yeah, we've tried to combine a number of let's call them techniques or tools in order to help the kids with living peace and giving peace and celebrating peace. So through conversations and dialogues, and have them, I mean, kind of how do you say, arouse their creative thinking around peace and how they live it as tiny little individuals today. Instill some dialogue and some sharing, but also have creative play, so make them really engage with peace with their hands, with their body, through games, through role play. And then we've got yoga as well, and meditation, because again, inner peace is the start, really. And I know that that's one of the principles, let's say, or mantras of the Women's Federation for World Peace, that it starts at an individual level, and therefore it starts with inner peace. And so we are integrating meditation and yoga, which are proven tools to help individuals bring about mindfulness and live in mindfulness and with mindfulness on a daily basis. So yeah, we are using different those different tools, music as well, storytelling, to also show that peace is lived through many forms, and is shared through various ways. So yeah.
Yes. Sorry.